Here are some jobs that children did in black neighborhoods in the 1970s, but no longer exist today. In the 1970s, black children didn't wait until 16 to get their first job, and they didn't fill out applications at corporate chains or wait for managers to call them back. They created their own opportunities right in their neighborhoods, earning money through hustle, hard work, and relationships built on trust that no resume could capture. These weren't just jobs, they were lessons in entrepreneurship, responsibility, and the value of a dollar that shaped character in ways modern part-time retail work never could. But one by one, these opportunities vanished, replaced by child labor laws, changing neighborhoods, and a culture that stopped trusting kids with real responsibility. Here are 25 jobs that black children did in the 1970s to earn money, learn work ethic, and contribute to their families. Jobs that today's generation will never experience. Delivering newspapers before dawn. The newspaper route was the classic first job for black boys throughout the 1970s, and it required discipline that would shock modern teenagers. The papers arrived at distribution points around 4:30 or 5 a.m., bundled and tied with wire that cut your hands if you weren't careful. Boys would load them into canvas bags slung across their shoulders or into bike baskets if they were lucky enough to have bicycles sturdy enough to handle the weight. The route had to be completed before school started, which meant pre-dawn hours in every kind of weather: rain, snow, summer heat, winter darkness. You learned every house on your route, knew which customers wanted papers on the porch versus in the mailbox, and which dogs would chase you. Collection day came weekly or monthly, when you had to knock on doors and ask customers to pay what they owed. Some paid promptly, others made excuses or avoided you, teaching hard lessons about people and money. The paper route taught time management, physical endurance, customer service, and financial tracking all at once. Boys who succeeded earned enough to buy school clothes, save for bicycles, or contribute to family expenses. The job disappeared as newspaper subscriptions declined, liability concerns grew, and parents decided that children shouldn't be working in the dark alone. What was lost was more than income. It was early morning discipline and the pride of earning your own money before most people woke up. 2. Shining shoes on street corners and barbershops. Shoe shining was an art and a hustle that black boys mastered in the 1970s, setting up wooden boxes on busy street corners, outside barbershops, or near churches on Sunday mornings. The setup was simple: a wooden box to rest feet on, polish in multiple colors, brushes and buffing cloths, and the skill to make scuffed leather shine like new. Boys learned which corners had the most foot traffic, which days brought the best customers, and how to attract business with friendly conversation and professional results. A good shoe shine took skill, applying the right amount of polish, working it into the leather, buffing until it gleamed, and finishing edges perfectly. Customers paid anywhere from 25 cents to $1, depending on the quality of work and how generous they felt. Tips came from men who appreciated excellent service and boys who showed respect. The best shoe shiners developed regular customers who sought them out specifically, building small businesses based on reputation and consistency. The job taught salesmanship, customer relations, quality craftsmanship, and money management. Boys learned to spot fake leather versus real, to carry change, and to handle customers who tried to shortchange them. Shoe shining disappeared as shoe care became less important in casual culture. Street corner commerce became regulated, and the craft itself was no longer valued or taught. What died with it was the entrepreneurial spirit of boys who created income from skill and hustle. These weren't just jobs, they were training grounds where black children learned work ethic, money management, customer service, and self-reliance that no classroom could teach. The disappearance of these opportunities didn't just eliminate income sources, it removed crucial character-building experiences that prepared young people for adult responsibilities. Which of these jobs do you remember doing or seeing? Share your stories in the comments and subscribe to keep these important memories alive. 3. Collecting glass bottles for deposit money. In the 1970s, glass bottles had value beyond their contents, and black children knew it. Soda bottles, beer bottles, and milk bottles all carried deposit fees that could be redeemed at stores for cash. Kids would scour neighborhoods, alleys, vacant lots and parks, collecting bottles in wagons, shopping carts, or large bags. A good day of bottle hunting could yield several dollars, real money for children who knew how to spend it wisely or save it carefully. The work required knowing which bottles had deposits, which stores accepted returns, and how to negotiate with store owners who sometimes tried to claim bottles were too dirty or damaged to accept. Children learned to wash bottles before returning them, to separate them by type, and to count carefully to ensure they received proper payment. Some kids developed routes, checking the same locations weekly, building relationships with store owners who saved bottles for their regular collectors. The hustle taught resourcefulness, persistence, and basic economics, supply, demand, and value. Bottle collecting created opportunities for children who had nothing but time and willingness to work. The practice faded as plastic replaced glass, deposit systems disappeared in many states, and concerns about children handling discarded bottles grew. What vanished was an accessible entry point into earning money that required no special skills, just effort and initiative. Running errands for elderly neighbors. Being the neighborhood errand runner was a trusted position that black children earned through reliability and respect in the 1970s. Elderly neighbors who couldn't easily walk to stores, carry heavy bags, or stand in lines would hire local children to shop for groceries, pick up prescriptions, mail letters, or pay bills at utility offices. The child would receive a handwritten list, exact money counted out carefully, and specific instructions about what to buy and where. The expectation was that you would return with everything requested, the correct change, and the receipt. Trust was everything. One mistake or dishonest act would end your errand-running career immediately and damage your family's reputation. Children learned to read lists carefully, ask questions when uncertain, count change accurately, and handle other people's money with absolute integrity. Payment came in coins pressed into small hands, along with cookies, kind words, and sometimes advice about staying in school and being good. The relationship between elderly neighbors and their young helpers created intergenerational bonds that strengthened communities. Kids learned patience, respect for elders, and the satisfaction of helping those who needed assistance. This system disappeared as neighborhoods changed, families became more scattered, and trust between generations eroded. The loss was mutual. Elders lost helpers who cared about them, and children lost mentors who taught them responsibility. 5. Mowing lawns with push mowers in summer heat. Lawn mowing was serious, summer business for black boys in the 1970s who went door to door offering services with nothing but a push mower, determination, and willingness to work in oppressive heat. These weren't the self-propelled power mowers common today. These were manual push mowers that required real muscle to operate, especially through thick grass that hadn't been cut in weeks. Boys would knock on doors, quote prices ranging from $2 to $5 depending on lawn size, and negotiate terms before starting work. The job was physically demanding, pushing heavy equipment across yards, sweating through shirts and finishing every edge neatly, because quality determined whether customers would hire you again. Smart workers brought their own mowers, learned to sharpen blades, and developed regular customers who wanted their lawns cut weekly throughout summer. Some boys built actual businesses, hiring friends to help with larger properties and managing multiple clients simultaneously. Lawn mowing taught negotiation, physical endurance, customer satisfaction, and business management. Boys learned to estimate job time accurately, set fair prices, and deliver results that justified payment. The work disappeared as professional lawn services took over, liability concerns grew, and fewer families wanted to hire neighborhood children for serious labor. What was lost was the opportunity for young people to build businesses from scratch, using nothing but sweat and reliability. 6. Shoveling snow from sidewalks and driveways. Winter brought a different hustle when snow fell, and black children grabbed shovels to clear sidewalks and driveways before school or on weekends. The work was brutal, heavy, wet snow that seemed to double in weight as you lifted it, cold that numbed fingers even through gloves, and the constant reality that more snow might fall and undo all your work. But it paid well, because people needed their driveways cleared to get cars out and sidewalks cleared to avoid citations from the city. Children learned to wake up early after snowstorms, dress in layers, and hit the streets before professional plowing services arrived. They knocked on doors offering services, quoted prices based on driveway length and snow depth, and worked until the job was done properly. Repeat customers emerged: elderly homeowners who couldn't shovel themselves, working families who left early for jobs, and businesses that needed sidewalks clear before opening. The money was good during winter months when other outdoor jobs disappeared. Kids learned to work despite discomfort, to finish jobs completely rather than cutting corners, and to build seasonal business relationships. Snow shoveling taught grit, persistence through difficulty, and the direct connection between hard physical labor and immediate payment. This opportunity faded as snowblowers became common, professional services expanded, and liability fears made homeowners hesitant to hire neighborhood children for dangerous winter work. 7. Washing cars by hand in driveways and parking lots. Car washing was a weekend staple for entrepreneurial black kids who set up operations in driveways, parking lots, or outside churches after Sunday services. The setup required buckets, soap, sponges, towels, and access to water, simple tools that created real businesses. Some kids worked solo, taking their time to clean each vehicle thoroughly. Others formed crews, assembly lining the process with one person soaping, another rinsing, and another drying. Prices ranged from $1 to $3 for basic washes, with additional fees for waxing, tire cleaning, or interior vacuuming. The best operators learned to upsell services, suggesting extras that made cars look showroom ready. Location mattered. Setting up near busy areas or after church when men wanted to impress meant more customers and better tips. Kids learned salesmanship, teamwork, quality control, and customer service. They discovered that doing excellent work brought return customers and referrals, while rushed or sloppy jobs damaged reputations. Some young washers built such strong businesses that they worked year-round, adding snow removal and other services during winter. The car wash hustle taught business fundamentals, overhead costs, soap and supplies, profit margins, competitive pricing, and customer retention. This disappeared as automated car washes proliferated, water conservation concerns grew, and insurance liability made hiring neighborhood children for such work legally complicated. What vanished was hands-on business education disguised as weekend work. 8. Delivering groceries for corner stores. Corner stores in black neighborhoods hired local children as delivery runners, sending them throughout the community with grocery bags, produce, and supplies for customers who called in orders. This was before widespread car ownership, before supermarkets dominated, when neighborhood stores provided essential services to residents who shopped frequently in small quantities. A child working delivery would receive orders written on small pads, payment collected either on delivery or charged to customer accounts, and instructions about where to take everything. The bags were often heavy, milk, canned goods, produce, and had to be carried on foot or bicycle through all kinds of weather. Fast delivery meant satisfied customers and good tips. Slow or careless delivery meant complaints to the store owner and potential job loss. Children learned every street in their neighborhood, knew shortcuts and safe routes, and developed relationships with regular customers who looked forward to seeing familiar young faces. The job taught responsibility, time management, physical stamina, and customer relations. Kids learned to handle money accurately, to be polite and respectful regardless of how customers treated them, and to represent the store professionally. This system disappeared as corner stores closed, replaced by supermarkets requiring cars to reach, and as neighborhoods changed in ways that made children walking alone with groceries unsafe. What died was the trust between stores, children, and community that made such a system possible. Before automatic pin-setting machines, bowling alleys employed boys as pin setters who worked behind the lanes manually resetting pins after every ball. This was dangerous, physically demanding work that paid surprisingly well for the 1970s. Pin setters sat or crouched behind the lanes, watching for balls to finish rolling, then jumping down to clear fallen pins and reset the rack. The timing required precision: move too soon and get hit by the ball, move too slow and delay the game. The noise was constant, the air thick with smoke and the smell of lane oil, and the physical toll was real. Boys worked multiple lanes simultaneously, tracking games and keeping pins flowing smoothly. The job demanded attention, quick reflexes, and endurance to work hours-long shifts during busy weekend leagues. Payment came in hourly wages plus tips from bowlers who appreciated fast, accurate service. Pin setting taught focus under pressure, safety awareness, and the value of hard physical labor. Boys left shifts exhausted but with cash in pockets and pride in having done difficult work well. The job vanished completely as mechanical pin setters automated the process, eliminating the need for human workers entirely. What was lost was entry-level employment that taught young people to work in challenging conditions for fair pay. 10. Pumping gas and checking oil at service stations. Full-service gas stations were standard in the 1970s, and black teenagers worked as pump attendants who filled tanks, checked oil, cleaned windshields, and checked tire pressure for every customer who pulled in. Self-service didn't exist in many states, meaning every vehicle required an attendant. Young workers learned to greet customers professionally, ask what grade of gasoline they wanted, and perform multiple tasks efficiently while gas pumped. Checking oil required knowing how to read dipsticks, understanding oil grades, and honestly recommending additions only when actually needed. Windshield cleaning had to be thorough because customers noticed streaks and half-hearted efforts. Tire pressure checks required understanding proper inflation and how to use pressure gauges. The job taught automotive basics, customer service, multitasking, and honesty. Good attendants built regular customers who requested them specifically, creating tip opportunities beyond hourly wages. Station owners valued workers who were fast, friendly, and trustworthy with cash transactions. The work disappeared as self-service became universal, full-service stations closed, and insurance liability made hiring teenagers for such work complicated. What vanished was practical automotive education delivered through employment that built skills useful throughout life.